Hi, friends. Hello, the world. Welcome back to this episode of Transitioning Humanitarians Tools. And your host is Salomona. And today I want to talk about the topic that keeps coming up a lot, especially when we want to get promotion and lead teams, or reason why we want to leave the humanitarian sector is the topic of someone questioning us or our authority. And whenever we feel like someone is questioning our authority or us as humans or as persons, then we feel so much triggered that we just feel like we don't want to do this job. We feel like we need to get out of there. We start hating other people, or we are afraid to go for promotions and leading teams. And therefore, it just feels like it's going to hold us back from prospering and having success in life in whichever way. And I wanted to do a bit of an extensive discussion on this and a bit of a master class on this episode, so that it is so helpful for you to look at what you can do about it and how to take the steps on your own or come coach with me on this. So, excuse me. So in this episode, we're going to look at first examples of how it looks like, right? Excuse me, the various scenarios of how questioning someone or someone's authority looks like, and then why we need to work on it so that you really understand why it's necessary that we do that, and then how to do that, how to work on it, and what to do about it, basically, right? So let's start with the examples of how this shows up. And the way that it used to show up in my own life is that, let's say that I would be having a meeting with my team as head of office or as head of unit back in the humanitarian sector. And I would be conveying the message of a decision that senior management made, or maybe a decision that I made, or suggestions that I did in terms of how to work and what to do. And then of all the team members, one of them says that, well, we shouldn't be doing this. We shouldn't be, this decision is not a good one because it has these consequences and all of this. And then the way that I used to perceive that as to say, this person is questioning me or my authority as a head of office or as a head of unit, and feel so triggered, right? Feeling defensive or feeling angry or feeling like, ah, why this happens to me, or why this person says this. This person is a troublemaker all the time, and all of this, right? So similarly, the way that my clients have been telling me this is as well, that either it is setting where they need to do a big presentation, and then like in planning meetings with lots of like 100 150 people in front, and then they do a presentation, and then all of a sudden one or two person out of many who said amazing and all of this, and one or two person says, well, this doesn't really make sense, why would we even do this, and all of this, and then we all feel like either humiliated or attacked, or like we need to do something, and then we get triggered, right? So you can see that the way that we can be questioned might be in big settings and smaller settings, or even in individual conversations. We may feel triggered, and then we feel like we need to do something, but we don't know what to do. Now, why do we need to work on this? Why do we need to look at our triggers and do something about it? Is because one of the main reason is we want to be creating safety and safe space for everyone to be saying their truth about how they're feeling and how they're working with us, whether they agree with this, whether they don't agree with this, right? We want to create a very honest and collaborating and supportive environment where people can express themselves freely. But then if we are triggered every time when someone expresses something that they genuinely believe, then we feel like we're hoping that that doesn't happen, right? We're hoping that in that meeting that my client was saying they're doing the presentation, she was hoping that I hope no one says anything bad. I hope no one says anything critical, right? We just keep hoping, and we just keep feeling anxious. We just keep feeling stressed out that, oh, hopefully we did well, hopefully everyone liked it, hopefully this, hopefully that. And then we just have that experience of feeling like anxious the whole time. And then when someone actually confirms our fear of questioning something, then we go into this defensive mode or angry mode, and therefore, next time other people see that and they say, okay, I better not say anything because she can't handle this or he can't handle this. And I don't want to create problems. I don't want to be the troublemaker. And that's how it starts, where the toxic environments that we're all afraid of or we really don't want to be in, that's how the toxic environment starts, right? Where we don't really feel like we can be ourselves. We don't really feel like we can say things that is controversial or that's against everyone else. We just feel like this is not a safe environment, and we don't want to contribute to that unsafe environment, I'm assuming, right? And the second reason why we need to work on it is um, we don't want to then get promotions, or we don't want to go and even like go to bigger stages and talk to more people, or even if you're transitioning to a private sector, or even if you're transitioning to become your own boss, this topic will comes up a lot. Like it came in my case, is that whenever we're talking to potential clients about this, and then they have their own objections of why they want to work or they don't want to work with you, and then you take it as a personal attack, then you just feel like you can't really handle this anymore. You can't really keep having these conversations with potential clients anymore, because it just feels like so painful every time we get the no, or we get the questioning, or we get something. And then it becomes so difficult for us to keep working on that thing, especially in private sector, where people may say things out and about without really looking like how you might take it. And people just assume that you are an adult and you know how to handle it, right? So therefore, if we don't clean this up, and then it will just keep becoming like a personal attack that we just want to keep avoiding, keep speaking up, and keep saying things we want to, or allow others to say it. And as leaders, we want to set an example of creating a safe space, and therefore if we haven't worked on this, then we become the leader who is either going in extreme of people pleasing everyone and not really leading them, and therefore just keep agreeing with everyone, which everyone hates, right? Or becoming the dictator leader who just keeps telling you what to do and shut up and don't say anything. And then everyone hates them as well. And then we feel like I don't want to be either one of them. And this type of being afraid of being questioned is going to lead us to either of the extremes, which we don't want to. And therefore, if we want to find our own way of leading and managing teams, then we really need to clean up this part of being triggered by other people's questioning. Now, what to do about it? And I have put together here 4 steps that I will be taking you through, and I have here my notes, so you can get the very extensive version of how I have been coaching myself on this, and how I would love for you to coach yourself as well on this topic, and of course, come coach with me as well. So the first one that we need to look at it is we need to look at how do we immediately feel in the moment where we get triggered, right? So let's say that we are in that meeting environment and someone questions that decision, or someone questions our authority, whatever it is. Then in that moment, how do we feel immediately? So oftentimes my clients tell me that they feel angry, they feel defensive. And whenever we feel angry or defensive, what's going on in there is that we're judging them, right? We're judging them. They shouldn't be saying this. They shouldn't be questioning. That's what we are, that's what our judgment is about. Now, when we have this feeling of anger or defensiveness, and then we're thinking, because we're thinking they shouldn't be doing this, let's question, why do we believe that they shouldn't be questioning? Why do we believe that? Why they shouldn't? Because if they do, how does that make us feel? Is it makes us feel angry or defensive, but it's not because of them that we're feeling that way. It's because of how we are making their questioning mean about us, right? We're probably making their questioning mean about us that I must not be a good leader. I cannot handle questioning that other people have. I get triggered, so why are they making me feel uncomfortable that I don't want to be uncomfortable? So in other words, we are putting the blame on them, and we are for our being triggered. Instead of looking at, well, what if it's okay that they are questioning? Because have you really been in an office where everyone just gets along and harmonious and everything? I'm assuming no. And if it is, then something probably is not right, right? So if everyone is so harmonious, probably they're just a bit faking it or pretending it, and maybe there is a dictatorial scene going on, and therefore they are getting their steam out somewhere else. But that never happens. So therefore, people are going to be questioning and asking questions or not agreeing with you, and this is just part of how we work together. And therefore, they keep doing that even further. Now, how do we want to handle that? Is the question, right? If we keep handling it as with anger or as with defensiveness, then we will just feel so bad about ourselves and about the other person. And we're signaling to others that we cannot handle it. We cannot handle being questioned. We cannot handle being questioned about why we made this decision the way we did. And is that really true, though, right? Do we really want to be that type of leader who gets triggered and feels like can't handle that type of questioning? And I'm assuming not. So, therefore, if we don't want to be that type of leader, then how are we going to react to that situation next time? What do we make that questioning mean about ourselves, right? Do we make that mean that we're really bad leader or they shouldn't be questioning or why is it happening? It shouldn't happening and all of those things. Do we really want to make that mean about ourselves? Or we want to make this mean that it's normal that people do question, people do ask question about the decisions, and that's just part of the conversation in the office place. So that is the first way to look at it and to question our trigger points for being questioned, right? Now, the second one is if we have felt defensive or angry, that means we took it as a personal attack, right? We took it as a personal attack, and that's why it's painful. Now, the question here is, why do we take it personal? Why does it need to be a personal thing? Why can't it be about the topic that we're discussing? Right? This is something that I was thinking about recently, is that every time when someone even like says no to me in potential client, or even when I fail, for instance, right? I just make it so personal. And I was thinking, why does it need to be personal? What if it didn't need to be personal? And if it didn't need to be personal, then what else could it be? Right? So if yeah, if we say that it's not personal, it's not about me. In other words, they are okay to question it, and it's fine that they question it. And also, since it's not about me, but the subject matter, and they want to contribute and they want to help us improve, and therefore they are expressing their worries and their concerns, then it's no longer about me, a cell who is not a good leader or whatever I make it mean, but rather this topic that we want to advance, right? So therefore, if it's not about a personal thing, then how am I going to deal with it? I'm going to deal with it probably very fine. I would be like, oh yes, this is a very valid question, and I hear you, and The reason why we didn't make a decision that way is because of these reasons, and therefore, I trust you will understand, but you have a valid point, right? So it would be very like nothing triggering, nothing bad. It would be just like, yeah, I hear you. It so totally makes sense, right? So that's the part about not making it personal, but rather something that is topic related, and how we all want to contribute to making the topic better, or the service that we're delivering to our persons of concern or affected population better. And therefore, this type of questioning is very normal. Now, the third step is let's say that even if it was personal, let's say that that person really did have problem with us, right? Because that often tends to happen and we cannot really hide that. We can't just say, oh, everyone loves me, everyone is just like wanting me to be amazing and all of this, right? Of course, that's probably not going to happen most of the time. So therefore, let's say that that was a personal attack. That they did it. They could have not said it, but you know how the feelings that you have is that sometimes the same thing that you said, someone else said it. They had an amazing reaction, and then as soon as you said it, everyone is like questioning and all of this. It used to happen to me some of the times, and it would be like heartbreaking. So let's say that it was a personal attack. Now, what can you do, right? So in the moment, I was thinking that even if they meant it as a personal attack, what if I didn't take it as a personal attack? And I was thinking about this a lot, is that what if they meant it like they said it out of spite, out of not liking me, out of me being of a certain personality, whatever it is. Um, or let's say that even that they did it out of discrimination, whatever it is, right? And I didn't take it personal. And I took it as this is the topic we're discussing. This is the topic that we want to make better, or this is the decision that we're discussing, and here are the decisions, or here are the ways that I see it could work, and therefore just not even engage in their personal attack. What would happen then, right? Excuse me, how would we deal or do things then? Because I would love to be in a situation where I don't take it personally at all. Like even if they meant it, I don't even want to engage in it at all. And the reason why I wouldn't engage in it, even as a personal attack, is because I just make it mean about them. So if they have difficulty having a professional attitude in the conversation with me, or if they are not being adult and being adolescent or childish like and making it a personal thing about me, then I don't want to babysit them. I don't want to babysit their behaviors. It's their thing. It's up to them, and they take it and they decide what to do with it. Therefore, I'm not even taking it as a personal. And the other thing is that let's say that they are discriminatory in some way, right? Because of my country, because of my race, because of something else, whatever it is. I noticed that one of the things that I could be so good at doing and makes me even more powerful is I just don't even engage in that conversation. I don't want to be affected by their discriminatory treatment. And if I don't want to be affected by their discriminatory treatment, then I'm just going to push it back to them and say, if they are having their own discriminatory urges, whatever it is, and if they cannot be professional or if they haven't cleaned up their discriminating urges, then it's their problem. I don't want to engage in it. I don't want to get into this. I don't want to feel victim of it. I don't want to keep then afterwards hours and hours suffering from why am I discriminated, how am I discriminated, and all of those things. Because if they can't solve it themselves, I can't do anything for them. And therefore, my job in that moment is to say, okay, even if it's a personal attack, I don't want to take it as personal because I don't want to engage in such behaviors that I don't approve. I don't want to be suffering from people I don't like. And therefore, I'm just taking it, the part about the topic, I'm going to take it and respond it, and that's it. And I will just move on. And the fourth and last one that I suggest that you try, which is welcoming such behavior. And I know that's the hardest one, and I'm still working on it. And I feel like it's one of those ones that you intellectually know that, yes, that's where you should be headed, but it's not easy, right? But at the same time, I always feel like every time I get questioned, every time I get questioned about my authority or about me, my person, I really want to write down all of the triggers or all of my thoughts about why I was triggered, why I felt like they shouldn't be doing this, they should have da da da, and why I was so much judging them. And then how do I want to clean that up so next time I'm able to go a bit inch of welcoming any type of expression, no matter what that is. And I want to be the leader who always creates that safe space for everyone to express whatever the thing that's happening for them without judgment. And even if I can't do that every time, because my human gets in the way, I want to still be able to try my best to create that environment so that they can say whatever they want to. And I'm there to listen to them and hear them and then respond to them if I can. And that's the type of leader I want to be. Therefore, I want to welcome any type of disagreements, any type of whatever the questions they have. And the reason why I always want to strive towards being that type of leader is simple, is because when I was little, my father used to be the dominating type, and he would always not like any questioning. He wouldn't like any disagreements. He wouldn't like anyone contradicting him and saying things against him. And because he would be triggered so much, that I always learned that shutting up, suppressing myself, just smiling and not saying anything is the way to go. And that's how I have become a perfect people pleaser. So my father, a dominating figure, raised a perfect people pleaser, except that when I grew up and became an adult, I realized A, my parents no longer have authority over me or control over me of how I live my life. And B, I don't want to be the person who keeps people pleasing and not really being able to tell the truth. And therefore, it took me so long to work on becoming the person who tells my truth. And even some of the times it becomes difficult to do that, especially when the environment is tense or when the environment is like someone is not really liking you, is telling your truth. And I never wanted to contribute to that type of environment. And therefore, as much as I can, I try my best to work on my triggers so that I am able to create a safe space where everyone can say whatever they want to say in terms of their questions of why this decision is right or wrong, whatever it is, and I want to be there for them. And therefore, I really find it so useful to work on this trigger point so that we become the leaders that always contribute to a safe and flourishing, honest conversations environment rather than a suppressing and tense and stressed out environment that we all hate to be in. So, my dears, if you would like to work on this topic, absolutely come coach with me. I would love to coach you getting to a transition to a place where you feel so calm and so grounded, so loving in the conversations with people when they are questioning your decision or your authority, and how you can handle them powerfully without feeling like a victim of such environments and keep fearing those environments happen again or those situations happen again. So if you'd love to get coaching on that, absolutely come do that with me. In the meantime, have a great rest of the week. Bye.